Hi guys, my name is Harish Krishnan. In this video, we're going to look at how are we going to do automation in small organizations, right? This process is called business process automation and it involves 8 steps. The 8 steps involved in doing a business process automation are: first up, you need to understand why we need to do automation, and then we always do automation in step number 2, understanding the rules and regulations. Then of course, you got to document your current process. So step number 3 is documenting your existing process. Step number 4 is to understand what you want for as objectives in the new process. And step number 5, since we are not used to this, we're going to engage business process consultants. And step number 6, it's most important. This is a high value project, so you got to convince the top management. So you got to put up a calculation on the return on investment that we're going to do. And then once you finish all these 6 steps, and then we're going to implement BPA and then test the BPA. So that's the 8 steps involved in doing the BPA. Let's deal with step number 1. What is step number 1? Understand why we need to do BPA. So in step number 1, all that we're trying to do is understand why these organizations need automation, right? And we know that we are living in an age of digital and automation age, so we can't let go of processes to be handled manually anymore. At least if not manually 100%, we might intend to involve semi-autonomous processes whereby part of the process is automated, right? So step number 1, figure out, take a white sheet, write down all the details as to why we need to do BPA and what we're doing good for the organization. Once you're done with that, then you need to understand that when we are developing a software or when we are developing or when we are implementing automation, it's always important to follow certain rules and regulations. Like in India, we have the Information Technology Act 2000 amended in 2008. So we have a lot of compliances to with the act, and we are not supposed to overrule any of that. Nevertheless, not just doing that, we also are talking about the Companies Act, Income Tax Act and other regulatory requirements. So you have to understand all the rules and regulations that are applicable to you as part of step number 2. Understand the rules and regulations. Once you do step number 2, you're moving on to step number 3, which is about documenting the existing process, which is the most important process here. Because reason number 1 why we document the existing process is because we don't want mistakes that are happening right now to happen even in future. So what we're doing now is to document the complete existing process in clear detail stepwise. Once we are done doing that, we will get to know all the lacuna, that is where the gaps are, so that we can frame up objectives to fill this. Once you're done with step number 3, we're right now moving up to step number 4. What is step number 4? Is identifying the objectives that you want to fulfill in your new process, right? How do I set goals and objectives for my new process? You can go with one of the famous management theories called SMART goal setting, right? 5 points here in SMART. S-M-A-R-T stand for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant and timely. This is the best principle in the world for goal setting, right? So you set your goals using the SMART goal setting theory and come out with fantastic goals. Now you have the understanding of the existing process and you also have newly framed goals in step number 4. Have we ever done this before? No, we haven't. So do we have relevant experience of doing this? No, we don't. So better don't take a chance. Step number 5, involve a business process consultant, right? Outsource this entire activity of implementing the new automation process to a consultant who is well familiar with the entire process. Check his market reputation, how much cost it is involved in hiring him. Check all of those, get quotations from the leading consultants, choose the best one. Now you have the right consultant in hand, you have a right plan. It's all about going to action. Get a go ahead from the top management. How are the top management concerned about this? Because they are the ones who are paying for this, and we always know the one who pays for it has to know how much return he is going to get for it. So as financial management people, we are also aware about calculating the ROI. Step number 6 is about calculation of return on investment, and once you calculate the return on investment and it works out to be positive, then you're going to get a good return on doing up this entire project. It's going to free up a lot of employee time and it's going to help the employees spend less time, get more work. That's efficiency increase, and then you are just going to see a positive return on investment in terms of money as well. Once you're convinced with that, once your bosses are convinced, if the top management gives a go ahead, that's it. Then you get up for doing this. Bring in step number 7 You already have a consultant appointed. Step number 7 is all about implementing the business process automation process. Now this is not a one-day process. It's gonna take time. It's gonna be done in a phased manner. You can't convert everything overnight, so you just got to go with a phased wise implementation. Your consultant will take care at this point in time, and then once you're done with the entire implementation, you should understand that you can't straight away go for live implementation. You need to run about a testing phase. Step number 8 in BPA is all about testing the entire automation process. So before you go hit live, test the process. Once your testing results are well within, you're done with all your 8 steps, and that's it. You can go for implementing this program live, and then your organization is called automated process. Right, that's the 8 steps involved in doing a BPA. All right, I think that's a little bit information on BPA. The video was informative. I'll come back to see you in another video with another concept. Thank you. This is Harish Krishnan.